Welcome to the Compassionate Corner podcast, where we share stories of resilience, cancer, and hope. I'm your host, Roya Soleimani Winner, and this podcast is a voice for the International Society for Children with Cancer, ISCC. In each episode, you'll hear from survivors, caregivers, and medical professionals who have firsthand experiences with cancer. They share their journeys, the lessons learned, and the moments of unexpected joy and hope. Whether you're facing a similar battle, seeking to understand and learn from these powerful stories, you found the right place. Thank you for being with us as we explore these extraordinary stories of resilience and hope right here at the Compassionate Corner. And friends, today we are so lucky to be joined by Niosha Nafei Jamali. Niosha Jan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Roya Joan. Thank you. And wanted to say hi to everybody who is watching us, hearing us, and to ISCC, to all the viewer at Compassionate Corner. And thank you so much for inviting me. I am at the same time that's super excited for this time we're going to have together. But I must say, I have a little butterfly in my stomach as anticipating what the conversation will be.
Well, the beautiful thing about the Compassionate Corner is that it's a conversation just like this. So why don't we take a deep breath together? And if you're listening, you can take a deep breath as well. We'll all ground ourselves a little. So deep breath, and here we go. If it's okay with you, Niosha Jan, can I go ahead and give our listeners and viewers a bit of your background, and then we'll dive into our conversation?
Please do. Yes.
Okay, so Niosha began dancing at the age of 5. Her love for dance was natural and innate. In 1992, she founded Niosha Dance Academy and began to teach children and adults the styles of Persian dance that she loved so much. She's also the founder of the nonprofit Niosha International Conservatory of Arts, NIC Art, which promotes the arts, culture, and literature of local communities by providing access to various creative experiences. Niosha is a cancer survivor and has supported many cancer organizations like ISCC and the American Cancer Society. Niosha is happily married and a mother to 3 sons, Fardin, Afshin, and Ramin. And with the support of her wonderful husband, Farda J. Jamali, she brought traditional and contemporary Persian dance, art, culture, and literature to the forefront of communities locally and around the world. Again, Niosha Jun, welcome to the Compassionate Corner. And again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So to start, we shared a bit about your bio, but help us understand more about your background and your passion for Persian art, culture, and dance, so we get to know you a little better.
Sure. Niosha is just a person who is full of love. Love can come through so many different shapes and forms, in different stage of life, in different forms. And all I see that what is necessary in life to have a good life, to enjoy, doesn't matter the longevity, the length of it, is the quality of life. And love can answer all of those. Love came to my rescue in the darkest, deepest part of the life when there was a struggle. Love came to my rescue when there was illness. Love came to my rescue when I stepped into the marriage life and the responsibilities. As a mother, as a wife, as a daughter who right now taking care of my mom, both right now for the older age and dealing with Alzheimer, and before that my mom going through cancer. So as far as the cancer itself, since we might probably talk more about this, I'm sure I'm going to keep going back to this word, and the more we say it, the easier we accept it. Some people, I remember when I was diagnosed, my grandma said, don't even say that name, don't even say it, assume you have, like, you got a cold, you caught a cold. I said, no grandma, I have cancer, in different languages, saratan, cancer, get okay with that. So my mom having cancer, so I kind of had different roles in life, from caregiver to survivor to mom to daughter to a dancer to student and teacher, taking a lot of philosophy classes through practical philosophy, I learned to just continue loving what I do, who I am at each moment, and be okay with whatever comes my way and kind of just flow. So that is Niosha. The numbers that you say in my bio, you did say what year I found Niosha Dance Academy, or the nonprofit, or the age, or 3 children, or two-time cancer survivor, this stuff, but love is all that matters.
Love is at the core and it radiates from you. You know, as someone who knows you outside of the space of this podcast and has followed your work, I mean, it radiates from you truly like rays of sunshine. So thank you for sharing your love and your art with us, and today sharing your story. And so you mentioned being a two-time cancer survivor, also a caregiver for your mom who had cancer. Can you take us back to when you yourself first received your diagnosis and the emotions you experienced and what helped you get through at the time?
Absolutely. I will
Oh, I
do
think we
a
may have lost you.
summary. I will do a summary, a short version of it, in case if our listener and viewer were interested. I believe it was January of 2021 when we were during the midst of Corona and everybody was at home, and I was doing a lot of live and very active on Instagram. One day, because a lot of people kept asking me, one day I announced and I told people I'm going to tell you A to Z of my cancer journey.
Wow.
After that day, Roya, it was just, for me, was kind of shocking how the body goes through it one more time. And I was throwing up after just talking about it, but I went through so much detail. And it was an intense, about 2 hours live. It's on my Instagram, January of 2021. So if somebody wants to learn everything about it, it's a 2 hour talk that I did. But for the
Yeah.
purpose of the podcast, if I just want to touch on the milestone, on the important stuff for me personally. So
Yeah.
this, the person who watches these, if they are going through it themselves, or if they know someone who's going through it, maybe my story will give them a little perspective. But I was 31 years old to 2002, and just had a 2.5 year old son and a 3 old month boy, two boys.
Oh my
3 months
goodness.
after giving birth, I had a lot of pain on my chest area. My back and chest was really painful. And pregnancy was also painful, but I'm one of those that I'm not as much whiner or complainer. And I thought, well, we're growing in another human being in our body. Of course, it's not going to be as comfortable. So all the pains, I thought it's the pregnancy related.
Yeah.
After baby was born, all the pain on my chest also, I thought it's for breastfeeding. But the pain was so bad that my sister is a chiropractor and a nurse. Every time I would go to her, she said, Niosha, I just don't like the noises you make. Every time I'm trying to adjust you, the way I would just
Yeah.
say, oh, like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't, the pain was like so much. I was like, "Oh, don't touch, don't touch." So she said, go for an x-ray. This is, I don't like this. So I go for an x-ray, 11 a.m., 11 or 1 a.m. I do the x-ray. Before 5 o'clock that the doctor goes home, he calls me and said, I need to see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. in the office. So I go in, and yep, they were suspicious of couple, either, they said it's either lymphoma or thymoma. It's either your thyroid or lymphoma. And it's interesting, 22 years ago, I didn't know what lymphoma is. When they said you have cancer, I'm like, I have cancer? Why? I'm just 30 years old. I don't even smoke and I don't drink and I'm a dancer. So you might be mistaken. So I went and
Yeah.
actually looked at the dictionary. What is lymphoma? So, and sure enough, we go to doctor, and it took me pretty much a week to 10 days to grasp the meaning of it and see what it takes to have this. The first was, of course, like, no, of course not. Not me. I just have two little kids. This is not happening. And after a couple of times to doctors, the doctor's visit was very, very, very dry and very shocking because we sat there and the oncologist just came in and lay all the facts. You have
Oh,
40% chance of survivor. You're going to get fat. You will not have any energy to get your work done. You're going to lose your hair. You're going to like probably after that with the radiation and chemo, this like this, I'm just hearing these after five or
yeah.
six sentence. I was like, I checked out.
I mean, naturally, at that point too, where's the compassion? Where's the sort of
Had no
empathy?
compassion.
Oh my goodness.
And they said you cannot have any more children. And at that sentence, when they said you can't have any more children, I just looked at my husband and said, but we wanted 4 kids. No, no, no. I'm not going to start any treatment until we try for this third kid. Now I have a 3-month-old baby and I'm thinking about, no, I want more kids.
Well, like life is probably passing through your mind and like all I mean, that's a really hard way to receive already really hard news if it just goes to
Yeah.
the textbook this and that because people do have different experiences. And at the
Yes.
end we're all human. So where's the
Absolutely.
humanity in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. The visit, the first, my 2 cents, my advice, my sharing tip to the ones who are going through illnesses like this is one of the hardest time during the whole process is that first 2 weeks. For me, the first 2 weeks from the day that the doctors tells you you have cancer until you're done with all the testing, going doctors coming home, the bone marrow, the x-rays, the CT scan, the PET scan, I mean doctors, different doctors coming in, giving you the prognosis, giving you the treatment plan, all of those. That's minimum 2 to 3 weeks. That's the hardest part of the journey because you don't know, and depending on different personalities, some people, like with my mom refused to do anything. We had such a hard time to take her to her appointment. She kept saying, no, I'm dying, I'm
Yeah.
dying, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing chemo. I'm not, so and was like very much resistant. Some people get so bitter and angry and upset. Some people, they're just numb. So there's so many different reaction in that 2 3 weeks. For me, it was just like at beginning, I now that I look back, I think it was a lot of it disbelief. I kind of thought very soon they're gonna say no, it's not, it wasn't, sorry, we made a mistake, because it was hard for me to believe. We think cancer, you should either smoke or drink or not be unhealthy.
Yeah.
So, going through the regular regimen of it, I went to my OBGYN, my doctor, to see if I can harvest some eggs. And the doctor
Yes.
said that's like 3 4 months process. And my oncologist said we can only postpone the treatment for 2 weeks because my arm was starting to like get swollen. The tumor was a 10
Mm.
centimeter, like a grapefruit size, in my chest
Wow.
cavity. It was right between my lungs and
Oh,
heart.
Nisha.
And that's where it was pushing all the joint. And so it was very uncomfortable. And only 2 weeks they said we can postpone it, but my doctor, OB doctor said, no, we can't do that. So forget about it. My husband said, hon, we already have 2 kids. Don't worry about it. So we let go of the idea of the kids. Not to spoil the story, but I have 3 boys now. I had only
Yes, you
two
do.
back then, and the doctor said you cannot get pregnant, but I did get pregnant.
You did, and see, this is where there's
Yes.
hope, right? There is always hope.
Yes, and I just wanted to open this
Amazing.
parenthesis so you don't have to wait until the end of the story.
Let's not bury the lead. Exactly.
Yeah,
You
I'm one
got
of
it.
those that I quickly tell the happy ending at the end. And it's been
I
22
love it.
years from then. All my boys, the one who was only 3 months old right now is in Europe, right after his graduation from San Diego State University. Now he's like touring the Europe.
Wow.
The boy that was 3 months old. And I, at that time,
Yeah.
was writing letters um, to just tell my housekeeper and babysitter back then that please make sure to give these to my boys when they go to school. Please make sure like Fardo does get married after me. He loves me so much, but I
Oh.
know after me he's going to be devastated. All those stuff. And it's interesting how we contribute to the hardship of this already very hard news we get. Personality wise, I don't know what it is, but we always think the worst that can happen. Um, for me, I did those because everybody needs those moments, the grieving moment. I'm not saying stay positive, don't worry, have hope, and all those. I
Sure.
always say there are going to be times that you're going to lose it and you think, why am I even fighting? Because it's one of those things, Royal June, that the treatment itself, sometimes it's.
Nusha, thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine being with that, what the feeling was getting the news first and then those first 2 weeks you described.
Hope, of course, everybody says that, and as we go through these talk, Roya, you're going to see so many different areas that hope and love of living and love of thriving than just surviving made me still here after 22 years and going strong, and after another diagnosis that I have, I'm still keep going, even though hope is number one and being positive and all that. But what I tell people, because there comes a time that you really don't want to be positive. You really don't want to smile and say, no, I can get through it. Yes. Oh, it could have been worse. That's one of the, I did several talks for people, either as a survivor or as a caregiver, that don't tell the patient who's actually right going through all these emotion and treatments and just cannot even know if next year would be here. Don't tell them, oh, you're gonna be fine, don't worry, if thank god you don't have this, thank god. That sometimes it's worse than any, I mean, and I've talked to so many cancer survivors. That's one of the things people don't want to hear. At that time, it's like, yeah, it's like sometimes, like as I said, my grandma,
Yep.
rest her soul, she kept saying, imagine you just have a cold. I said, no, I don't have a cold. This is cancer. I
Of
might
course
die or
not.
something
Yeah.
like that. So even though I was very positive, but still there was times that I would prepare those letters. I would leave things for my kids. I would just think that I wish I could
Yeah.
see them go to school. I wish I could see them drive, all that. And it's interesting that every milestone I get
Yeah.
so emotional but grateful. It's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful for when I wake up and I just do a full breath, and I don't have to do bronchoscopy, I don't have to do bone marrow,
Mm.
I don't have to have the tubes to breathe. Just breathing that we all breathe like in and out, we don't even think about it. That is a
Yeah.
blessing. When I see my kid going to kindergarten, graduating, their promotion, and then the graduation from high school, now college, they're driving. When I was taking my son to get his driver's
Yeah.
license, I had teary eyes, and he said, "Mom, what's wrong? I'm not. I'm going to be careful." I said, "Hon, you have no idea that you were my
Yeah.
miracle child, and now I'm watching you getting your driver's license." So I don't even want to think about their marriage. But I have.
I was going to say there's so many more milestones to come, and I can, thinking about you as a mom of two little ones, not that at any stages, but just having those little babies who need you so much, and you are
Yeah.
fighting for your life during that time, Yusha. I mean, it's really, um, there really isn't room for that excessive, sort of positive statements or redirecting from others because they were not walking your shoes, right?
Motherhood,
They
yeah.
can't make any of those guarantees. So my heart is with you thinking about just how much you had on your heart and your mind and your
At some
body was
point, I
going through
lost you.
during
Sorry.
such a critical
During the
time of,
cruise.
and then as you said, now the boys are bigger. They've hit all these milestones and many more to come. One of was like as a parent, how you navigated these. Were there hard conversations that you had to have with your kids about your health?
their stuff. I wanted to change my kid's diaper. I wanted to put him to bed. I wanted to feed him. But thank God I had such a great support system. My parents, my in-laws, friends, they were all there to help. But at some point, I had to sit the whole family down. I called for a family meeting.
Thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our inspiring interview for the Compassionate Corner podcast. We are going to pick up the rest of this conversation in part 2 in our next episode. We hope you join us, and thanks again. Thank you all so much for joining us. The Compassionate Corner podcast is produced by the International Society for Children with Cancer. I'm your host, Roya Soleimani Winner. And a special thanks to the incredible ISCC team, our producer, Susan Shahidi, and technical director, Sogol Nikumaram, and our amazing editor, Sharsad Sabet. Music is by artist Sina Sarlak. And now at the close, we want to emphasize that the opinions expressed by the host, that's me, and guests on this podcast are not medical advice. While we strive to provide valuable insights and information, it is important to understand that the views shared here are personal opinions and experiences. We highly recommend consulting with healthcare professionals or qualified experts for personalized advice. Thanks again for spending time with us in the Compassionate Corner. We look forward to seeing you real soon.
وسط مرگ و زندگی، عشق یعنی تو به همین سادگی، عشق یعنی تو مال خودم باشی، عشق یعنی سکوت و نگاه به تو، عشق یعنی برداری نقاب تو، عشق یعنی یه دفتر نقاشی.